It was sometimes ugly, but boy, was it beautiful.
You don't want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ the Tar Heel. And in this huddle, we get to talk about the North Carolina Tar Heels 70-57 win over the Pitt Panthers, sending them to 0-3 in the conference, and Carolina moves to 2-0 in the conference. And look, man, that was a fantastic victory. Remember what we were talking about in the keys to victory, the keys to success? Carolina had to bully the bully, and Pitt literally came out there and tried to push them around, but Carolina did not back down. That was the important thing to see. They didn't necessarily start fast, but they simultaneously were able to break the curse, the 3 straight wins that Pitt's had over North Carolina, the 5 of 6 that Pitt has had over North Carolina. Guess what? Carolina's on a 1-game winning streak right now, moving the all-time record to 9-7. Why? Because they bullied the bully, right? They didn't back down. They held their stinking ground, and they brought it right back to them. And it wasn't a pretty game. It was not a pretty game for either team. But let me tell you something. That was a beautiful thing to see from our North Carolina Tar Heels, man. To see them grit out a W in a hostile environment against that team, man, that is stinking huge. That is stinking huge, man. I cannot say enough about this victory from Carolina. And through all the struggles in the first half, Carolina took a 3-point lead into halftime on RJ Davis's buzzer beater from 3. Nasty stinking shot, bro. It epitomizes the season that RJ's having. And I also want to give a shout out to stinking Seth Trimble, who had a huge 9 points. He led all scores for Carolina with 9 in the first half. And that guy has been fantastic off the bench. Not to mention, even when Elliot Cadeau, and I know that I'm going all over the place on this one, I work 15 hours a day, another hour in the gym. Dude, I'm gassed. So I'm kind of everywhere. Just got home, trying to put this video together for you guys. But even with Elliot in foul trouble, he picked up his 4th foul really early in the second half. He had to sit large stretches of that game. Seth came in and gave us fantastic minutes, man. Just phenomenal minutes. And it was just great to see, bro. It was great to stinking see. So let's go ahead and get into the box score real quick. Like I said, Carolina took a 31-28 point lead into the half, and they outscored Pitt 39-29 in the second half for a 70-57 victory. Harrison Ingram finishes with 7 points. Look, he did not have the greatest night on the offensive side. He had a late 3. He went 2 for 2 from the free throw line, but he had 15 rebounds, 7 and 15. And that epitomizes Harrison, man. You know, he didn't have the best offensive game, but he affected the game on the other end, bro. And that just shows a lot about the kid's character, man. Harrison Ingram just filling up the stinking box, the stat sheet, you know, even though he didn't put up large numbers on the offensive side. Armando Bacot had another big game, 16-10, right around his season averages right now. 16 points, 10 rebounds, had an assist, had a steal, had 3 huge blocks. I mean, Armando played a good game, man. He was tough, and it was good to see Armando have that kind of game. Elliott finishes with 4. Like I said, he had to sit a little bit because of the foul trouble. He had 2 assists with 2 turnovers. RJ Davis finishes with 15. I don't think he scored in the last 10 minutes of the stinking game. But he plays 36 minutes, 6 for 16 from the field, 3 for 6 from the three-point line, and he also had 4 assists. Now, he did have 3 turnovers, but it was another really good game from RJ. He literally started out pretty hot. You know, Carolina, I think, didn't score for the first, 3.5 minutes. RJ Davis scored, I think, 5 of the first 7 points, 7 of the first 9, something like that. So he kind of got Carolina going, and Carolina didn't even take their first lead until about 13 minutes into the stinking basketball game. So a lot of that is attributed to RJ kind of, once again, shouldering that load when everybody else is kind of trying to find their way to fill their way around. Seth Trimble has another good game, man. Like I said, 10 stinking points. He's in double figures. He hit a huge 3 as time was expiring on the shot clock in the first half. I mean, I just can't say enough about Seth Trimble and what he does off of the bench for Carolina, man. It was just really good to see Seth ball out like that. Now, getting into the team stats, and this is pretty crazy. Carolina only shot 36.5% from the field, and they only shot 29.4% from 3. They had 9 turnovers, but they out-rebounded Pitt 51-41. That's huge because Carolina has not always been dominant on the glass like that. To be plus 10 in that category against the Pitt Panthers in Pittsburgh, in the hostile environment that they were in, bro, that's stinking. That's great, man. That's how you win those kind of basketball games when you're not necessarily having your greatest offensive output. And speaking of not having a good offensive output, the Pitt Panthers did not help themselves at all. They shot 30.9% from the field, 17.2% from 3. And they only had 41 rebounds to Carolina's 51. Now, this is the team that was leading the ACC in three-point field goals made. And Carolina was able to partially play good enough three-point defense, getting hands in faces, making them uncomfortable from beyond the arc. And a lot of it also was Pitt just was off tonight, man. They were off. They went 5 for 29 for 3. And Henson didn't hit his first one until like the last 3-4 minutes of the basketball game. So on one hand, you got Carolina playing really good defense. On the other hand, you got Pitt not knocking down threes that they typically do, if you will. But I don't even stinking care because Carolina just got a 13-point victory on the road in the ACC, and they got the first game of this 3-game stretch, man. That is stinking huge, bro. And you watch this team, you're watching this team grow. You're watching this team grow. It doesn't matter if they score 85, 90, 100, or if they only score 70. If they scratch and claw their way to 70, they can win games in multiple ways, and you're seeing these guys play together, man. And I also got to give a huge amount of credit to Coach Hubert Davis. You know, he is... especially the last couple of ball games, man, I feel like he has done an exceptional job of managing his bench. Seth's given us some good minutes. Jalen has given us some good minutes. It's just really good to see. Even Withers gave us a couple of good minutes today. So that's also outstanding to see Jalen play well, man. I mean, 70-57. Carolina moves to 10-3 on the season, 2-0 in conference, before their showdown against a top 16 Clemson team in Littlejohn, which can be a pretty raucous crowd themselves, man. So I don't know about you guys, bro, but that is, man, I'll take that victory all stinking day. Carolina and toughness, man, that goes well together. And it's not something that we've seen necessarily, in the past seasons, in the couple of seasons leading up to this one, I'll say that. So to see Carolina be tough and to handle business on the road, man, you got to be excited, Tar Heel Nation. So I tell you what, let me know down in the comment section what you think about this basketball game. Is that about what you thought? Are you kind of surprised at the margin of victory? I had it a 5-point game. Carolina ends up winning by 13. So you let me know down in the comment section what you think this means about Carolina and the type of basketball that they're capable of playing going into that environment and having that victory. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and consider becoming a member of the Huddle Hooligans. Once again, I apologize. No live stream today, but we will definitely be live for that Clemson game coming up noon. We'll talk about that one later, though. Enjoy this stinking victory, Tar Heel Nation. I love you guys. Have a good night, and we'll catch you on the next one, baby.